Good morning. How are you? It's another day in pandemic world. So, for the sake of consistency, trying to post every week, get back into the swing of things. I had footage. I made two different kinds of bread, but I forgot to film them going into and coming out of the oven and then the finished product. So I have to redo, well, I don't have to redo, I have to actually do the footage for that, but that's besides the point. I was trying to edit last night and I discovered that I just don't feel good. Now, to clarify, I have a lot of health issues, and most of it's stress induced. So I have stress induced gastric paresis, which is the paralysis of your stomach muscles when they normally start churning. When your stomach normally starts churning like this, with gastric paresis, it doesn't, or it's very slow. So your food doesn't digest very well, and it can take a while. I also have stress-induced hives, although I haven't had that since I got my vitamin D squared away. So that's good. Last night, I discovered a wound that I have on my left foot isn't healing very well. It's gone 6 days since I first noticed it, and now it's red. And my foot hurts a lot. So I think I may need to see my doctor Monday. But again, that's my immune system is not great. It hasn't been since the first staph infection I had in December of 2014. Here's this lovely story. I had a bump right here on my thumb. And I was like, oh, well, I have a little cyst or something on my nail bed. And normally in the past, I've been able to just pop it, get the core out, put some triple antibiotic ointment on it, wrap it, and let it heal. And that's what I did. And then about 3 days later, I noticed that I had like a throbbing in my thumb. So I took the bandage off and it looked very bad. So I cleaned it up really well and put more triple antibiotic ointment on it and wrapped it again. Another 3 or 4 days after that, I started to get cold. I was just cold. No matter what I did, I was just cold. And I wanted to sleep a lot. So I took my temperature, and it was 101. And I was like, well, that's weird. Maybe I have the flu. I didn't connect the fever with the thumb. Fast forward, I started to decline a lot and very quickly. And so one night, Melissa and I were going to bed, and I said, I think tomorrow I'm going to call my doctor's office and see if I can't get in to see him. And when I took off my layers of clothing, because I was still so cold, I noticed red streaks going up my left arm. That freaked me out. I've heard of it before. It's not sepsis, because it didn't get that bad, but it was heading that way. So I showed Melissa and I was like, maybe we should go to the ER. So I went to the ER. They diagnosed me with a staph infection in my thumb in the nail bed, and they put me on two different types of antibiotics, very strong antibiotics. One was an antibacterial, the other was an antiviral. But it was the very, very strong stuff that they give you when you have a staph infection. It finally started to clear up, but the rest of that year, I just couldn't muster the energy to do anything. October 2016, I had my breast reduction. Yay! I was so happy. Everything was healing fine, except I had this one spot over here that hurt, but I didn't put too much into it. And I would call my surgeon, and no matter what I tried, I could not get past her nurse. And her nurse just kept putting me off and putting me off and putting me off. No matter what I said to her, I said, I told her that it's red, it's very sore, and she just kept saying, well, this is normal, just keep it clean and change the dressing, you'll be fine. So fast forward to February, the end of February 2017, again, I spiked a very high fever, and again, I could not get warm. And just to be on the safe side, well, back up a little bit. So I started spiking a fever, and it stayed at 101. I couldn't get warm, and this started hurting more and more and more, to the point where I couldn't lift my left arm. I couldn't move it forward. Laying on it was excruciating. We went to the ER because I started throwing up. Got there, my fever had spiked to 102.5. They ran some preliminary tests, and they admitted me. I had MRSA staph and strep in an abscess that had developed in that spot that I was trying to tell the nurse. So I was in the hospital for 8 days, 7 or 8 days, something like that, on the cocktail of antibiotics and antivirals that they give you with MRSA. And they were keeping an eye on me. My temperature didn't fall below 100 for like a week. So I was visited by the infectious disease folks, my doctor, my surgeon, the nurse practitioner, and I can honestly say that if you want to get better, don't go to the hospital, because they will not let you rest. They would come in every half hour to take my temperature and my blood pressure. After 8 days, 7 or 8 days, I can't remember, they put a midline in because my agoraphobia and my anxiety was getting so bad that I was starting to decline a little bit. So they put a midline in. I was on those antibiotics every 8 hours, or that cocktail or whatever, every 8 hours for another 8 days, I think. And I had a home nurse to come and check the midline and whatnot. So now my health is all over the place. I just, anything stressful just knocks the wind out of me. Literally knocks the wind out of me. I can't function. I don't eat, and I just lie around. few months have been hard on everyone. The pandemic, the lockdown, the wearing masks, just the sheer energy of the world is off. And it does affect people. It affects them in very different ways. Uh, Melissa dipped into a depression. She's slowly coming out of it now that she can go back out into the world. She's an extrovert, so she draws her energy from other people. Um, and I'm an introvert. I draw energy when I'm left on my own. We're finally getting past that. We've had some very stressful news lately. I don't want to say anything just yet, but it's very stressful. And we're trying to get we're trying to get past it. We're trying to function around it. But the stress has finally gotten to me, and I mean, look at me. I'm sitting in an air-conditioned room, okay? You can see my air conditioner right there. And it's a really good air conditioner. It functions very well. And I'm sweating. It's it's just part of my health issues. Anything that causes stress I have to avoid. Period. I don't watch the news. I scroll quickly through social media posts. Primarily, I don't go to Facebook anymore. I primarily post and read up on folks on Instagram. Anything stressful, I have to go through it really quickly, because for my health, I have to do that. I can't get involved in anything stressful. I have to protect myself. And that's really the whole point to this video, was just an update on why there wasn't a video yesterday, but for the state of the point of consistency, I wanted to let you guys know why, because I really feel like crap. But I hope the rest of you are having a really terrific weekend, and I hope you guys are doing very well. And I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification button so that you never miss out on one of these very awkward videos. Thank you.